Hey, Riddle here. I'm going to show you the progress on the new crazy project I've taken on if I don't have enough to do around here already. But this might inspire you because so far people think it's rather beautiful. So I always believe that I need a lot of beauty in my life to supplement the sufferings of life. I just have to be comforted in my cocoon. So, unlike most Americans, unlike most people, my home, there's a priority to have art and flowers and beautiful things, because for me, it's the best medicine. The best medicine are aesthetics. And that doesn't mean that I have to be rich to buy these things. Many of them are thrifted or gifted or created myself. So that being said, my backyard has this large retaining wall that spans the entire length of the house, and it's concrete. So on the right side, I have wood pile, and then there's just this big dead space with wood chips that we haven't decided what exactly we're going to do with, and I don't know what they did with it, previous owners. But it's energetically, it's just ugly, it just lacks energy. And I always feel like in your space, when you have those dead spaces, and especially one that's so pronounced, so large, that it's just not good. It's just not a good thing for life. It's not a good thing for luck and fortune and health and your psyche. So initially what I was going to do is I was going to plant espalier trees up against the walls. But the problem was, espalier trees are tricky. Espalier tree is this old style of growing a fruit tree, where instead of just growing it straight up like a tree, they trim it in a way that it's flat. And you have these very particular branches, very intentional branches that go sideways that are trained to grow along a wire. And it's really beautiful the way they do it, the way they train it. And this is was very popular in Europe, especially. This is where you see espalier the most. And every once in a while they do pop up at Costco or your garden centers, but they're pretty expensive because it's not easy to do that to a fruit tree. But then I was worried about the retaining wall because of its age and its concrete. I would have to drill a lot of holes into the wall to create the guiding wires for the branches, and moisture, and dealing with living things. If it dies, it's like it's a big deal for the space. And I already have so many fruit trees on the property and gardens to take care of. It just would have been one more thing to add to the 250 other things. So what I've decided to do is to paint espalier fruit trees onto my retaining wall. And I've just started. I've got about 2 days into this. And I'm going to show you what I have done so far. And then I will just keep you up to date and show you how it goes. I try to get most of the work done in the morning before the heavy sun comes out. And in the evening, a couple hours when the sun is setting, so I'm not getting fried. I try to, protect myself. I have this really dorky giant umbrella hat thing, and people laugh at me, but I'm like, no thank you, skin cancer. So let me show you what's going on. So here's my wood pile. Looks like I got about half the wood I need for the winter already. And this is what it looked like. Just this concrete. But then first I started with using a blue that I mixed with some white. And then I mixed a lot of water into it, and I ran it starting from the bottom, really heavy, the length of the concrete, and let the drips run down. And then I went about 2 to 3 inches above that and did the same thing and just followed that pattern. So it's just not solid. It almost looks patinaed, but at the same time it has this beautiful skyish feeling to it, but moody. And then as we come down here, this is what I'm working on right now. So the first espalier is a lemon tree, and I'm coming in now with the neon green. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that neon colors are very common in nature. And if we study that tree, you can see There's so many different shades of greens, blacks, neon green, and even white to create the depth of those leaves. So that's what I have to achieve with this. And so I'm just finishing up with my neon green. Then I'm going to mix the two greens together. Going to go through, fill in some more leaves with that, and then just keep playing with it until it's as perfect as I want it to be. And then I'm going to move on to the next espalier tree, which will probably be an apple tree. They'll probably do an orange and a pear and just have a lot of fun with it. But I think it looks pretty classic. And the energy, when I look out the kitchen window, it's just so beautiful. Instead of just looking at that concrete wall, it has such a vibrance to it now, such a wealth to it. And I'm going to integrate some fun stuff into it also. I'm going to integrate some insects and some butterflies. And basically, you know, this type of classic muraling or painting on walls has been done since ancient times. And that's why I did the treatment I did on the wall instead of doing it solid, is I kind of want that Mesopotamian, Roman, Italian feeling to it, because it suits our little country estate. Give you a little close-up of this. But again, this isn't the finished product. Still in progress, but when it is finished, I will do a follow-up video and let you see what's happening. But so far, I'm very, very pleased. And like I said, every time I walk through the house or look out the kitchen window, no matter what time of day, I mean, even going well into the early morning or rain or even going well into the evening, it's still such a beautiful, bright energy. And another thing, if you're going to be muraling outside, and it's going to be a wall that's going to have heavy exposure to sun, you want to go a little higher on your pigments or a little brighter with your colors anyway, because even after I paint, spray this with a concrete sealant and a UV protectant, it's still, the sun is going to knock down that pigment color by a few shades eventually. So over pigment, brighter colors, you're ahead of the game with that. Okay, that's my latest crazy project. Stay tuned for phase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bye.